but it's your job as a coach to create the structure, keep the team operating within the structure, and then be able to identify issues when performance is not where you want it to be. Okay, that's a good coach. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bondi on Cheer. My name is Bondi, and here we have honest conversations about coaching, business leadership, and long-term athlete development in cheerleading. Look, I got a microphone on my face today. I'm not a huge fan of it. For those of you who don't watch the video podcast, you just listen to it, you're welcome. I'm doing this because I want to get the best audio possible. I use my hands a lot, so I don't want to have a microphone on my face, but we've landed on this. I think it's going to be the best thing for everybody, and I don't think it's too distracting. So if I bump into it, I just have to deal with it. I feel like a kid. I'm like, get this out of my face. Coaches, have you guys ever stopped and asked yourself, am I good enough? Am I a good enough coach? Am I leading my team to success, or am I setting them up for failure? Do I have what it takes to build this program year after year? Am I the right person? Am I knowledgeable enough? If you have asked yourself these questions, then that's a good thing. All right, that means that you have some humility. All right, a little bit of that imposter syndrome, I think, is healthy. The coaches that we need to be worried about are the ones that don't ask these questions. There's some famous philosopher, I normally know these things, but I don't know. But the quote is something along the lines of you cannot learn that which you already think you know. And for those coaches who go into this thinking, I got this down pat, I know everything I need to be doing for these athletes, I'm it, I'm it, I got it down, then that's scary. That's something that we should not, we don't want to be, okay? So coaches, we need some humility. We need to question whether or not we're doing things the right way, the best way, if we could be more, what we could be doing. But what I want to talk to you about today is the framework that you're using to approach your coaching, okay? Because we could have a baseline confidence knowing that we're moving in the right direction as long as we have some structure behind the way that we coach. If we're just flying by the seat of our pants, then we probably are setting ourselves up for failure, which is then in turn setting up the team for failure. So we have to have some sort of compass, some sort of guide, a direction to be moving the team towards. And that's what I want to talk about today. I'm going to give you guys a great framework to use. We're going to build some pyramids together, and I hope you like building pyramids. The pun is absolutely intended there. You build your pyramid the wrong way. I'm sorry to tell you. But from what I have seen in the cheer industry, we all build our pyramids upside down. They're very top heavy. We have our tryouts, and then we start working skills, and then we get our choreography, and then we just practice until we do our routine. There's no stability in that structure, okay? It might survive at best, but it will collapse eventually, okay? You can't build a program on an upside-down pyramid like that, all right? So what we're going to do today, we're going to take that pyramid, and you guessed it, we're going to flip it right side up. All right, so coaches, here is the correct pyramid overview, all right? And I might be able to do an overlay here on the video somehow, because I have a beautifully designed framework for this. Thank you, Megan. We have standards at the bottom. This is our foundation, and on top of that, we build culture, and our culture then has progress sitting on top of it, which then has performance at the very top. That's the pinnacle of the pyramid, okay? The very top, tippity top. I'm not sponsored by Starbucks. I should move this. Okay, so we're going to break each one of these things down. And this framework right here is going to give you the ability to rest easy at night, knowing that I have a solid structure and framework for my team, and that I can't coach outcomes. Okay, and we're gonna dive into that at the top. You can't coach outcomes. You can't force outcomes. There is no such thing as a quality of outcome. That's not how life works. Okay, life is unfair. So there's solace. We have to find solace in the approach that we're taking, so that regardless of the outcome, we know, well, I did everything I could within my control to be a good coach, operating on a sound structure, moving the team along a path that will inevitably lead to success. It's just a matter of how quickly we can get ourselves to operate within this structure and this framework. Let's start with number one, standards. Coaches, you create standards. These are simply rules and expectations. If you don't create standards, then the athletes will create the standards. And since they don't know what they want, what's good for the team, what's good for them, we can't let them do that. And when we do, we have lost the season. We have lost the seasons. We have lost the program, okay? Setting standards, very important. I already talked about it. We're just going to go over it a little bit, and then we're going to put it in the pyramid so you guys know that it is the foundation, okay? So standards include things like effort, accountability, attendance, behavioral patterns, goals, right? Those are all standards that you have to set for the team. What are you okay with? What are you not okay with? Right? So you don't create these things, the athletes will create them for you. So once we've laid that foundation, once we've created the standards, we've set the rules and expectations, we can now start to build a culture on top of that, okay? And culture is really just the enforcement of the standards. All right. It's what you repeatedly tolerate over time. So that is attitude norms, work ethic, team dynamic, buy-in and trust, and response to failure. And so the standards are important, they're the foundation, but the culture is whether or not we're enforcing those. You don't get to just write the standards, set the rules and expectations, and then dip. You have to make sure that you are constantly enforcing them, and that's what's uncomfortable. That's what human beings don't like. We as human beings, especially people who aren't confrontational, some are, if you don't like confrontation, then you're not going to like enforcing standards. But if you don't enforce standards, you're going to have a huge culture problem. And the last thing that I said in this list of items that revolve around culture, not that it was the entire list, but response to failure. This one is the one that I see running rampant throughout the industry, and it's a pet peeve of mine. We're going to just branch off here really quick because I'm a nerd and because I think this is super relevant for the cheer industry. Okay, I love cognitive biases, and there's one that I came across and was like, well, okay, there you have it. That's the cheer industry in a nutshell. And that is the self-serving bias. Okay, so the self-serving bias is where we attribute failure to external forces, but we attribute successes to internal actions. And I'll give you an example. I take my team to a cheer competition. We get first place. And I'm like, I'm awesome. I'm feeling good. I'm like, man, I'm such a good cheer coach. I'm so great at what I do. I'm so good at my job. Look at us, first place. I feel good. You know, everybody knows that feeling. You're like, yes. However, we go to cheer competition. We get fifth place. And what's my reaction? Oh, the judges are stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know a difference between a bobble and a drop. That's why we got fifth. See how we're externalizing that? But we won, and we're like, look at me, I'm awesome. Okay, I'll give you another example. Let's look at the athletes this time. My athletes. I'm on mat because I'm an amazing athlete. I throw all my tumbling passes. I have a good attitude at practice. I'm supportive of my athletes. However, I'm not on mat because coach has it out for me. She doesn't like me. I think it's something my mom said to her, or it's something that somebody else told her. And everybody else is breaking the rules, so why are you singling me out? Coaches, you see what I'm getting at here? If you do this, you have to lead by example. You have to practice what you preach, okay? You have to live and breathe the principles that you're trying to get the team to operate on. So unless you want to watch your stunt groups devour each other because the side base, every time they hit a full up switch up, is just like, man, in their head, I'm like, oh God, I'm so good. You know, that was such a good grip. I'm so fast. But then when the stunt falls, they're just like, oh, this flyer's bending her leg. That's the main base. She keeps getting in my way. The back spot's not pulling. You see what I'm talking about? We hit a rep. I'm awesome. It fails. It's my teammate's fault. Nobody when's the last time you saw a stunt come down and a group go, oh, that was me. I'm sorry. That was me. When I see athletes like that, I'm just like, dude, you are, I'll hire you right now because you're going to be successful. So this is just everywhere in the cheer industry. And I urge you to just recognize it's a cognitive bias. We cannot do away with it. It's ingrained in us. It's innate. There's nothing you can do to get rid of it, but you can recognize it. Okay. So I'll jump off my soapbox now. I want to get back into the actual pyramid here, but that's a super important one because that's the kind of thing that kills culture. It doesn't matter what the standards are. It will destroy the culture. Okay. Moving right along. We have our standards. We have our culture. We're enforcing our standards. All right. That will allow us now to progress as a team. So progress is the first technical block of the pyramid, a tier of the pyramid. Okay. This is where we see, skill retention, routine efficiency, practice efficiency, stunt efficiency, tumbling passes are cleaner. We're sticking our landings, we're setting, we're flipping high. Everything looks good. That's progress. That's team progress. All right. And culture has a lot to do with that, which is why it sits underneath. If we expect clean stunts, if we expect clean tumbling passes, if we expect consistent reps, if we don't have any sort of accountability behind cleanliness, if we let athletes get away with not throwing a tumbling pass or throwing a bad tumbling pass or dropping their stunt in the routine or it bobbling all over the place, the culture then is stifling our progress. We need to have that culture that promotes progression. And when we do so, we're able to get better. We're able to get more efficient. We're able to actually advance our skill level. And an important thing to note for progress is that when we notice we have outcome issues or performance issues, We don't fix performance, we fix progress. It's the first thing we look to when we need to make some sort of tweak or correction for us to be able to perform in the way that we want to be able to perform. And that brings me to performance, the tippity top of the pyramid. All right, our last rung, our last tier, last block. Performance is not directly coached, okay? It's an output. It's number of hit routines throughout the season. It's consistency in hit routines. It's consistency under pressure. It's competition results. All right, it's full outs hit during practice. That's performance. Performance is a lagging indicator of everything below it, our standards, our culture, our progress. Okay, we don't directly coach it. And it's really important for us to understand that, because a lot of the times you see coaches trying to coach performance where they run a full out and a stunt falls, or you're at your performance or a competition and you don't perform the way that you want to. And you see the coaches sitting there trying to coach the performance. Well, we don't do that, coaches. It's just going to leave everybody frustrated, okay? It's a lagging indicator. So we need to now start walking back down our pyramid, okay? We built it from the bottom up. We need to troubleshoot it from the top down. And that's the important part. We need to know how to use this pyramid in this framework. We can't just set it up and then hope that it works. It needs to be tended to, and that's the role of a coach. And there's an athlete version of this pyramid. For those who might not have caught that episode, I discussed the athlete capacity pyramid. This is the team capacity pyramid. And the athlete capacity pyramid essentially lives within the progress block of the team capacity pyramid, because our athletes need to individually progress. They need to build their physical capacity, mental capacity, technical capacity, so their performance is what they want it to be. And if our athletes are doing that, well, then our team can progress as a whole. So coaches, we lay the bottom, we lay the foundation with the structure. We stack on top of that the culture by enforcing the standards, okay? We lay the foundation, we lay the standards. Then on top of that, we create culture by enforcing those standards. Then we have progress, which is made up of athlete, physical, mental, and technical capacity. All right. And that's where we coach. That's where we coach. It's the first thing we look at when something is breaking down, like performance. So performance isn't what we want it to be. We go to our technical capacity, right? Or our progress tier. And within progress, we go technical capacity. Does an athlete understand how to technically execute this skill? You know, that would be speed, timing, pressure, shapes, and real-time adjustments, okay? Then, if that's all good, they know, is this a mental capacity? Is it a confidence issue with the athletes, okay? If no, well, then we go to physical capacity. Are they physically capable? Are their bodies physically capable of keeping up with the demand of the routine, the tumbling pass, the stunt sequence, right? And then, okay, are we dealing with a culture problem here, right? If no, then is this a standards issue? But by going through and troubleshooting from the top down, we're not just throwing a Band-Aid on a performance. We're actually finding the root cause of this issue so that we can fix it, and it's fixed. We can then move forward. We don't have a crack in the ship. We're not sinking slowly, all right? You just patch it up and hope that we make it to land. No, we actually go fix it so that we know we'll make it there. And if another problem comes up, we can then deal with that problem. And now it's not like we have two problems and then three, but you know what I mean? And then eventually the whole thing just falls apart. We sink right where we are. So if you're lacking in performance and you're not performing the way you want to, chances are there's some crack in the foundation in the pyramid below it. Okay? Stop trying to coach performance. You need to just double check everything below it. If you're performing well, that means that your structure is solid. It's sound, okay? It's working. If not, then we need to go identify the problem so that we can solve it. And I like to use a check engine light analogy where you have a check engine light come on, okay? You can't throw a piece of tape over the check engine light and go, I don't see it anymore. It's fixed, right? That's a Band-Aid over the problem. We need to actually find the root cause so that we can provide a solution, so that we have solved the problem. We haven't just masked it, okay? No more coaching like that. I don't want to see any coaches throwing Band-Aids over problems. You need to accept the fact that it could be standards, it could be culture, it could be a number of things, a whole host of issues, all maybe working together. But it's your job as a coach to create the structure, keep the team operating within the structure, and then be able to identify issues when performance is not where you want it to be, okay? That's a good coach. That's a coach that's enough. That's a coach that is leading their team to success, knowing very well that they can't control outcomes, but they can use those as real-time feedback to be able to identify where we're going wrong so that we can build back better, and then we hope that performance is then showing us, okay, yes, we have fixed the problem. Okay. All right, everybody. I was a long-winded one. Thank you guys for listening to another episode. This has been Bondi on Cheer. I'm excited for all these coming out. Got a lot of good stuff for you. I got a microphone on my face now. I already talked about that. It was fine. I still got to use my hands, so we made it. It doesn't look like this is going to be too much of a hindrance for me being able to talk the way I want to. Thanks, y'all, for the support. Appreciate everybody that continues to listen, and I will see you all in the next episode.